Okay, for 25, we have an interest type problem. It says a total of $3,000 is invested, part at 2% simple interest and part at 4% simple interest. The total annual return from the two investments is $100. How much is invested at each rate? Again, we got to see a system of equations that we're going to set up and solve. This type of problem, we did do that in an earlier section, but again, we didn't use a system of equations, we just used x all the way through. So this time we're going to use an x and a y to set it up. Like we did these problems before in a previous section, it's always better to set these problems up by using a table. So I've already written out a table for you that you can use. Basically, you have principal rate time equals interest. That's the main equation that we're using here. So here's PRT and then interest. So I'm going to multiply these three together, set it equal, again, and I have the interest over here on this side. So let's go ahead and talk about the principal. It says a total of $3,000 is invested, part at 2% simple interest and part at 4%. Now I don't know how much is invested at each rate. I just know that they add up to $3,000. So let's just go ahead and put x and y here to start out with. So it says part of it's going to be at 2% simple interest. Remember that's 0.02, not 0.2, 0.02. And then the other one is at 4%, so 0.04 there. My time is going to be 1 year because it says annual return. So the word annual means 1 year. Okay, so I'm going to multiply all these together and then that result's going to go here for my interest. So multiply across, I get 0.02x. So that's the expression for interest there because that's what this formula tells us. I'm going to multiply all these together and I get 0.04y. Alright, now we have to come up with an system of equations from this information. We're told that the total amount of investment is $3,000 by adding those two together. So one equation I have is x plus y equals 3,000. The other one is an expression for my interest. I have this expression for interest, 0.02x plus 0.04y. That's going to have to add up to 100 because we were told in the problem that the total interest that we get from both accounts, adding all that together, is 100. Okay, so this would be my system of equations, and now I just want to solve this. Okay, now I can solve this again by using either substitution or elimination. I'll choose to do this one by substitution because I have single variables that are there, but just know that you could also do this by elimination as well. Okay, so let me erase this. That chart was just to set up, just to help you to get to these equations here. Let's solve for, I can either solve for x or y, doesn't matter. Let me solve for y. I'm going to do 3,000. Let's see, let me show the step first there. Don't want to go too fast. You would do that right there. You would subtract x from both sides and you get y equals 3,000 minus x. So sorry about that. I wanted to show every step here for you. So 3,000 minus x, that's for the y. You're going to take this and put it into the second equation in place of y. So we're going to do 0.02x plus 0.04. Now instead of the y, I'm going to replace it with 3,000 minus x. I want to do that because that way I eliminate one of my variables and I have x as the only variable that's left. And so now once I get to this, it's just a matter of using some algebra to solve that one. So I have 0.02x plus, now we're going to multiply 0.04 times both things on the inside. So when I do that, I get 120 for this one minus 0.04x, and that's going to equal 100. So we've cleared out the parentheses. Now, be careful again, be really careful when you combine these decimals together. It's 0.02 minus 0.04. That's going to be a negative 0.02x when you combine those together. Plus 120 equals 100. Now we're going to subtract 120 from both sides. We get negative 0.02x. 100 minus 20, be careful again, you're going to have a negative on that, negative 20. Divide both sides by negative 0.02. And negatives are going to cancel, and we should get a positive number, we get 1,000. Now if you get a negative number, obviously you know something's wrong because you can't invest negative money. So we know that that's 1,000 should be correct. To find the y, just go into here and put 1,000 into that one. So y is equal to 3,000 minus 1,000, and that equals 2,000. So 1,000 is the amount invested at 2%, and 2,000 would be the amount invested at 4%. So make sure you put these in the correct blanks in the test.